Hi, welcome to Part of My Frenchie. This is me, 143. If you don't have a friend, you have a few now. Rosie is joining me on the couch right now. As you can see, her poor Rosie, God love her. She gets allergies during the summertime, and she loses little patches of her hair. But as soon as summer's over, that will grow back. So she's on little allergy meds and all that. But it's always the summertime, and I think. Hey, Michelle. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I I don't know. I think with the uh, she goes in, she follows small woodland creatures into our bushes and so forth. And so when she brushes up against that, I just there's just something back there that is evidently giving her some sort of allergic reaction, which to then I have to go and take and give her a bath again. And anyways, but the moderator's here. Hello, beautiful moderator. Thank you for joining and helping. Today is Pet Loss Tuesday. If you've lost a pet, doesn't matter if it's this week, last week, 10 years ago. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you found us. We are a very, very supportive community here, and it's a safe space. So, hello, hello, Dave. Violet, you were here. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Pet Loss Tuesday. um, oh, hello. Yep. So yeah, welcome to Pet Loss Tuesday. And I'm gonna talk about two viewer questions that came in. So they're actually pretty good topics today, um, and ones that hit the majority of us going through pet loss and support. So if you have any friends or family that are going through pet loss and support, send them this way. Or if they don't have access for some reason, as long if you're here, get some information. Being a support system is a very important thing. So it's always very, very positive to have loving people around you, especially during the time of tragic time when you lose a pet. And yeah, it's as we know, or people that have gone through it, pet loss and grief is a very, very lonely place, right? Hello, hi, welcome, 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 welcome. I always say on this channel, as well, especially on Pet Loss Tuesdays, there aren't many rules on here. The only rule is to be respectful to each other, and you can participate as much as you want, or you don't have to at all. Just enjoy. And like I said, we'll cover some topics later on today. But if you've lost somebody or if you've lost a pet this week, please put their name in the chat. And at the very end, we will do a candle lighting for them in honor. We always honor all of the ones that have given us unconditional love. So hello, hello, welcome, 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 welcome. Tuesdays are, yes, glad to see you too. It is Tuesdays are Pet Loss at 7 p.m. And then Fridays we have Frenchie Friday, which is, they're just it's kind of a hodgepodge of different topics, but they're more lighthearted and a little bit more fun. But we definitely want to have a spot for, people to be able to come in and get any kind of support they need, but also have a community of people. We've got several people that join, religiously every week, and I'm so so grateful for them. But they're a wonderful support system for everybody else that is coming here. And like I said, if you're going through pet loss and grief right now, hugs to you. Again, we know it's a very, very lonely place, which is the reason for this channel. The reason for this channel is to hello, hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. The reason, hey, Patty, hi, Patty. The reason for this channel is to fight the stigma of pet loss and grief, and it's to change the mind of society and have them recognize that our pets are not just pets; they are family, and they give us unconditional love, and they deserve to be, honored. But when we do lose them, we have to change the stigma that there's something wrong with us when we grieve, and when we grieve for more than 24 or 48 hours. Because grief is a lifelong journey. So hello, hello, hello. So today, okay, so well, welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is our pet loss and grief show on Tuesdays, and then Fridays are our kind of our open forum show. But yeah, we today we are honoring and you don't even have to have lost an animal this week or last week, anytime, anytime, because again, pet loss and grief is something that goes on for years, and it's not about getting over it. It's about learning how to live with it, and to start the healing process and live in peace and be able to, take the hard time, and as we move further from it, be able to recognize different things. And mostly this channel is something that helps people realize when they are going through that difficult time, that there's nothing wrong with you. A lot of times when people grieve for a long period of time, they think, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You had a blessing in your life that gave you unconditional love. And I think it's very unfair when we have, we have our pets, and, that's a day-to-day thing, 24 hours a day, 365 a year. And, it becomes our identity, right? Once we adopt or buy, shop, adopt, whatever. I'm not, one of those people, don't shop, don't adopt, all that stuff. I believe every animal needs a home regardless. So I'm not, too huge on backyard breeders because that's wrong. But people that breed ethically, I think it's wonderful. So, oh no. How long did you lose your pet? Oh, okay. You know what? Cats are great. They are absolutely great. Oh, see, Amy, that's a perfect example, right? It's a perfect example that there's days that are great. There's months that are great. But then there's triggers that can pop up, and remind us of the time, and it's sad because we don't have them there anymore, right? And the biggest thing that we can do is kind of, refocus on, I always say, especially, this is more for when you initially lose your pet, and it could be up to that first year. We concentrate and we get lost in the last day or the end, right? And we miss out on all, maybe if you had 15 years, maybe you had 20 years, we forget about it, right? And okay, and that's, Amy, that's a good example too, because you can have multiple people in your home. We're a multifamily house too. We have 3 dogs currently, but everybody grieve when we lost. Where's my guys here? These are all the ones that I've had that have passed, on top of my Harley, which he's over here. But these are all the ones that have had passed. 3 of them were within 6 months of each other. And then the baby was a few years later. My cat was my childhood cat that I've had for almost 20 years, I want to say. And then this was my recent one that I lost about 3 years ago. That was my Harley. And everybody in our family had a different connection with each one of these animals. And that's so, I think probably I grieve the hardest on all of them, because when you're the mom and you're responsible for taking care of everybody, and I was there from the time that we've got them to the time that they left this earth. That's hard. But I will say on this one, my Harley, I have a 13-year-old, and I grieved very hard for my Harley, but my son really, and he still grieves. You know what, that's uh, that Terry, that is 100% correct. Um, when they're gone, you can't just move on, right? You can't. Um, you know, that's the process. That's what I call the journey of pet loss and grief. Every day is is another step, and um, even when you decide to, if you ever decide to adopt again, um, you know, those adoptions, or those new, I always new addition, like the music group, but those new additions to your home are just that. They're new additions, and each one of my guys all had, everybody's got a different personality. They're all different. There's no replacing. There's no, it's just not. They all were different in their own unique ways, and they all loved a different way. They all had attitudes a different way. Um, so yes, but um, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It is. You're right, because when we have that initial loss, I mean, that's a trauma. Let's call it what it is. It's a trauma, because when you do something for, again, 24/7, 365, and then all of a sudden, out of, maybe not out of nowhere, but out of, they're gone. That's a huge hit. That's a huge adjustment to us as individuals. And our mind is trying to keep up with what our heart is telling us. We've got all these mixed things going on, and on top of, you know just a roller coaster. I mean, there's 7 steps. There's 7 steps in grief, and they don't go in order. So it's not like you can plan it. Not like you can wake up and go, oh, today I'm gonna, I'm gonna be in the, I'm gonna be angry today. I'm gonna be bargaining today. No, they all go all over the place. Aw. Well, yeah. Yeah, and I'm sorry for your loss too. They are. They're 100% like our kids. 100% like our kids. And they are. I mean, absolutely. The pet industry is $1 billion industry. The amount that we spend on vet bills a year. I mean, heck, my poor Coco, God love her. She just had to have this major surgery, emergency surgery back in February. I mean, and it was like, $10,000 for that surgery. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, pets are expensive. And when people post, free dog, free cat, there's nothing free about a dog or a cat, in my opinion. Oh, you lost him to cancer. I'm so sorry. And that, what, that's a tough one too. That's a tough one too, Donald. And because with cancer, there's, my Daisy, she had a form of cancer as well. And they give you all these different options, right? You can try chemo, you can try this and that. But they don't tell you that. Well, I shouldn't say they don't. They do. But depending on where our headspace is, the chemo and stuff is great, and it will prolong their life, but it doesn't kill the cancer. And because they can't, the doses that they give dogs compared to humans, they can't do that without really harming the dog more than need be. But you get some more time with them, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I've never taken the chemo route. I do know that people that have. My Daisy, when she had it, she did extremely. I mean, hers was probably slow moving anyways, but probably a year and a half prior to her passing. And, like any kind of good dog owner, you're not going to let your dog go until they're in pain or something like that. Right. And that's it right there. Be brave. He tried the best to be with you till his last minutes. 100%. 100%. I think sometimes that our animals do that with us too, right? I think they, they're such, people pleasers. I keep saying dogs. I mean, dogs, cats. I mean, hell, I've done pet loss and grief for many, many years. And when I had my in-person meetings and so forth, we had everybody come through the door that had dogs, cats, naked rats, iguanas, all sorts of things. So, it doesn't just hit the two, the two was, we have all sorts of wonderful animals and what people connect with. How many dogs have I had before? So I had these guys. So I had my 4 here, and they're all gone. And then I had my Harley, that's 5, and I lost. These are the ones that I had and lost. And I had 2 when I was a kid, but these are all like my adult dogs. And now I have Coco, and she's sleeping on the floor. Rosie's right here next to me, and then my Lola. Lola is also a white. She's a white boxer as well, and my Lola she's what, 12 years old now, 12, 13 years old, and she's just my little old lady. So she kind of just strolls around, and she'll come downstairs, and sometimes she won't. But they're my blessing. They're absolutely my blessing. After we lost Harley, again, my son was very, very attached with Harley, and it took him a very, very good amount of time before he said he was ready for another dog, and that's when Rosie came into our life. We went with the French Bulldog breed. We always had basically boxers or dachshunds, and we went with the French Bulldog breed because they're smaller and I can lift them. Makes it a little bit easier. And then after Rosie came, Coco was a rescue. She is a she's deaf. She's a deaf rescue, and one of the best gifts that we could have gotten. She's also a French Bulldog as well. She'll eventually come up here during the hour sometime. But yeah, she's a beautiful girl. We were very, very lucky to be able to adopt her from the shelter. She, was a dog they overbred, and unfortunately they didn't take care of her ears, and so she kept coming up with ear infections, and so her ears are flapped down, but she's also deaf. So she's a beautiful girl, very, very beautiful girl, beautiful spirit. She fit right into our pack, which was nice. So but yeah, before I get on a tangent on that, I wanted to give some shout outs real quick here. So this I'm going to do this dog of the week is a faithful watcher. He is still with us, even though it's pet loss. He is still with us, but he is a faithful watcher every week, and he lives in New Zealand. And this is Bubba. Bubba will be our dog of the day, and he belongs to Michelle. And he's just an absolutely fabulous dog. And again, watches the show Tuesdays and Fridays. So shout out to Bubba in New Zealand, who is just a beautiful, beautiful dog. He went through some medical issues where he was basically paralyzed, right, Michelle? And was given not a great outcome, but Michelle took him home and she rehabbed him. And now he's back walking again. And I mean, she put all of her heart and soul, right? She put all of her heart and soul into Bubba, and he is like, back again. So shout out to Bubba. And let's see here. Save that for there. Shout out to the moderator. So here's our moderator. Oh no, that's my son. Here's a moderator right here. And that's her dog Noir. She hates AI pictures, which is why I do them. So she does that. So that's our moderator with her dog Noir, which is also my grand dog. And this is my son up here, and that's with his dog Rosie, over here. So, but anyways, so yes, they all hate AI pictures, which is why I do them. I do them even more because they hate it. And so, kind of another shout out to some of our regulars. This is This is Michelle and Bubba in New Zealand. This is Aaron and Angel, and they are in Canada. And this is Patty and Violet, and they are in the Chicago area. So they are faithful watchers. So hello, hello, hello. Thank you for popping in today. Appreciate you very, very much. And let's see, what else do I have here before we get, no, I'll move that over to the side. So, all right, let's jump into a couple things. I always go through Facebook, to a lot of, that was his birthday beach picture. Yes, he had a stroke. Yes, he was, okay, so that's what Michelle said. So Bubba had a stroke and was fully paralyzed, and she taught him how to walk again. Just did wonderful, wonderful things with him. So, and that's what pet parents do, right? We do what we can. And sometimes when things happen, there's not much you can do. And that happens as well. And it doesn't make you a bad pet, it doesn't make you a bad pet parent. Hello, welcome. It doesn't make you a bad pet parent, especially if you have to make a difficult choice. I was in, one of a similar situation with my one dachshund, and she had back problems, but then she woke up one day and she was paralyzed from basically the neck down, and they said we could put her through surgery, and it would have only, they said the likelihood of her even making it out of surgery was very low. And they said even if she had the surgery, it wouldn't guarantee that she would ever walk again. And that was probably one of the hardest days of my life, to be faced with a decision like that. And so yeah, sometimes it doesn't make you a bad pet parent if you are still put in a situation where that can happen. So unfortunately, I had to make that decision to give her, she wouldn't have had a quality of life if she would have even made it through the surgery. So anyways, and that happens to a lot of people, and it's a very, very sad part of being a pet parent, right? So, Michelle says you do every day. Oh, good for you. It does. And you're right. It does. It hurts so much. It really does. And that happened to me, gosh, over 10 years ago now, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. And I'll still never forget it. I won't forget the day. I won't forget the sights, the sounds, all that stuff. So, but that's also the price, I pay for loving something so much, right? And I wouldn't change it for the world. Because what they give us as their guardians, as their parents, is priceless. Yeah, I joke with my family. I say, I come home from work, and nobody runs to the back door and greets me like the dogs do. They're literally sitting by the back, by the garage door waiting for me to come in. None of my family members do that. I probably, all fairness, I would probably think that they were weirdos if they did do that. But, they're there and they're excited to see me, and they make me feel like they haven't seen me in 2 years or whatever. So, I love you too. My son decided to join. He never watches this. so thank you for tuning in. But jumping into some of the show stuff. There's two topics I wanted to talk about that were actually viewer questions, and wanted to tackle them because I thought that they're very, very important. I do have down here, before I start that, because a lot of times we talk about, pet memorials and, kids, my son's on here now, but there's, kids are a huge part of animals' lives. And one of the things that we adopted whenever we had a passing of one of our Yeah, the bird. Yeah, he is a bird whisperer. My son has parakeets, and they sit on his shoulders, and um, he has a very very good knack with that. But uh, so yeah, when I think when kids, and I actually think too, this is good for adults as well. We kind of have a tradition in our family, and when we lose the pet, they always go to be cremated. I use a local funeral home, and a lot of vets or whatever will advertise their cremation services, but um, we there's a lot of uh, like regular funeral homes that will cremate dogs and dogs, cats, or whatever as well, and they do a fantastic job. I've been using this funeral home for gosh over 15 years, and they've taken such good care. Aaron, no, you're fine. Hi, welcome, Aaron. Um, yeah, I mean they take such good care of your pets when they go. So usually when they pass, the funeral home will come and pick them up, and then it's basically a week before they come back home. And so I think it's important, and I wanted to share this too because I don't think a lot of people think about this part. Um, because again, you're going through so much grief and this and that, but for our family, this is something that also helps us heal. It's a tough day when they come home anyways, and I'll give you a very very good example here. So oops, let's see, a couple of things that we do, and I'll give the example of my Harley, since he was my most recent um, one. It would recent as in 3 years now, but here he was when he was um, a puppy, and then right before we lost him, old man. He lived a very very good life, and so a couple of things that we do is when they come home. Oh, hey, Adam, welcome, Adam. A couple of things we do is we will, when I go and pick up the urn, I clear off the table. Yes, you do love Harley. Um, we will we'll clear off the big main table, and we put really pretty things out. And I usually get flowers, and I get a welcome home cake. And I put everything out along with the urn, and then everybody has cake and we celebrate life. It's like a human funeral in a way, right? It's a celebration coming home. It's a celebration that of their life. And I'll be very honest, it's a great healing, so it's not like they're just coming home and um, you know, it's just again with pet loss and grief, it's so, in my opinion, cold, right? Pet death is like cold. Here's your urn, and go on with your day, right? But when you can do this, and if you have family over, you can celebrate, get a cake. We all have cake, even the dogs have cake. So everybody eats cake in celebration of the one that we lost. And so another thing that we do, all my guys are in my family room, and they're on my fireplace mantle. So I brought him down here as a example. Um, so here's my Harley. God love him. So what we do too is everybody has their urn, and then they have we put on their collar, their last collar that they wore, and along with something to remember them by. Oops, sorry, I don't want that guy to fall over. Something to remember him by. So I also have his tags, and then I brought this. So it's just kind of a little memorial, and it's got myself and the dogs, and everybody has something on their urn to remember them and to honor them. and they stay in, again, they stay in our family room. So they're with us every day. They celebrate our holidays with us. And it's just a great way to, you know, hello. Oh, hi. It's just a great way to honor them, honor their lives. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. When I go, they're all going with me. So that's another reason why I keep them all there. So when I go, they're going to be buried with me, just the way I want it. So that's that. And the dog behind us, right? This dog here that keeps falling over. This was something that I think people should do as well. Especially if you have young kids. I think that this is probably like a huge blessing, because when he had passed, and I know growing up, we didn't have a lot of, modern technology. People had movies, but nothing that you could pick up on your phone and watch a video, right? So when my Harley had passed, I had gotten this for my son, and I went to Build-A-Bear and I picked out a dog, and they don't really have a lot of different dogs that look like your dog. So I picked out this dog, and what I did was I played, you can do voice recordings. I played where's he at here? I played the last bark, or not last bark, but one of his barks that I had on my phone, so that when my son, wanted to hear his dog again, you play the paw, and you can hear, he can get that comfort of hearing what his dog sounded like again, and again, because with this topic, which is one of the things that I'm trying to fight, but with this topic, it's all about rushing. I know, isn't that great, Aaron? But it's all about rushing. Everybody wants to rush us. When are you going to get over it? And a part of that is fear. Because, I believe, Amy, you mentioned it. Every loss is different, and everybody had a different connection. So even if you're in the same household, there's going to be people that don't grieve as long as you will. And I mean, that's me personally, right? I grieve. I still grieve. I still grieve over some of the ones that I lost, and that's okay. But I think the way that society is, they badger us into hurry up. Why? Just go get another one. Well, I think that's so rude, right? I think it's so rude, because God forbid if it was grandma, or God forbid a child or something like that you lost, nobody would be coming up to you, go, well, just have another kid, just go adopt a grandma at the old folks home. Nobody would do that. So why do they do that with animals? They do that because they don't have the connection, and they don't have the understanding, or you have people that don't have animals, and they've unfortunately never experienced that, right? So it's and then people can be insensitive too. That's a huge thing. And I'll say it and I'll say it again. I don't believe, especially people that love you, I don't believe that people intentionally want to hurt you, especially when you are down. I just think sometimes they say stupid things. Emphasis on stupid. So, it's scary for them, because they're seeing somebody that they love in these emotional stages of grief, going back and forth, and they don't know what to do. And again, you could pull up TikTok, you could pull up YouTube, and there's always those videos of somebody surprising somebody with a dog, or surprising somebody with a cat, or whatever. And that could, a lot of times your YouTube videos and TikToks are, oh, it's happy. But I've also seen it go sideways so many times. So people will ask me, say, Mom, mom lost her dog. I feel it's time that she gets another one, or she need, it's not up to you. It's up to mom, and you have to be ready. Yeah, I've said it in the past, and I will say it again. I made that mistake in my own home. Some of us were ready to move on with a new member of the family, and I disregarded some that were not. And you can't do that. I didn't do it on purpose, but you have to really tune into everybody that is going to be a part of that animal's life, and you really have to check in with people, because you don't want to be the insensitive one. I do this. I've done this for over 13 years. There was no way that I was sitting there, looking at my one family member and facetiously saying, "I know you're not ready. I'm going to go out and bring another animal to this house." No, I would have never done that, because it's insensitive and that's not great. Oh no, a 16-year-old beagle. Oh, what was your beagle's name? Yeah, if you've lost somebody, put their name in the comments. And like I said, at the end we'll do the candle lighting as well. Oh, it's so hard, right? It's oh, Johnny. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, and 16 years, 16 wonderful years you were blessed. That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Never enough time though, right? Never enough time. But they're, but we're, I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, even, if we get 10 years or 15 years or even less sometimes, that time is priceless. And, I feel sad for people that aren't animal people, most of the time, because they don't know. They don't get it. They don't get that, that unconditional love every day. They don't get the feeling of just, I mean, you can have a rotten day, you could be in a rotten mood, you can just be awful or be in an awful mood where every other human on the planet is just like, I'm not even dealing with that person, right? Besides you, is that your, oh yeah, this is, yeah, right over, this is Rosie. Rosie's sleeping. Yeah, Rosie's sleeping here. She's got allergies, so avoid the patches. This summer's allergy season, so she's got to grow that hair back. Yes, so yeah, this is Rosie. Rosie's behind me in the picture up here too. Yeah, so that's our little 4-year-old. So, oh yeah, wonderful years. Thank you. Yeah, she's Rosie, and like I said, she's passed out down here on the floor. But and she's a good girl. She's a mess. I love her to death, but she's a mess. She just gives. She's like the ball of energy. We've got my Lola that is my senior citizen. Coco's pretty chill. She's pretty goes with the flow. This one here, I'm shocked she's even sleeping. She's just a mess. I love her. Yeah, Rosie's 4 years old. She's 4, and then Coco's 4 as well, and then again my Lola. But yeah, 8 months old. Aw, yeah, right. That's a beauty of it. Is that all the years, right? That's the beauty of it. So we're just, I mean, we're so blessed. And that, again, I don't understand people that don't like animals, or don't like, maybe it was who knows what it was with them, but I feel sorry for them. I wish that everybody, could just experience it. And granted, everybody knows you have your rotten days, right? When they do, silly things or rip things up or all that stuff. Mine sleep like a horse. Wait, that's usually Coco. She's I know, like the potatoes being good for once. Yeah. Now, Stephen, what kind of dogs do you have? Or cats, or what do you have? But yeah, she's being extremely good right now because she's sleeping. That's when she does her best. And if you tune into future shows, I will be very honest, or even my tape shows. I don't edit anything, so there's been times when they've knocked over my lights, they've knocked over my cameras, they've broken things. Oh, husky! Oh, those are beautiful dogs. Oh, you have a talkative one too. Aw, um, what's is it boy or girl? What's his name or her name? Yeah, huskies are beautiful. Oh gosh, where do you live, Stephen? How's the weather? Not, I, I'm the reason why I'm asking that is because it's so hot here. I'm in Ohio, and it is so hot. I mean, we had almost 100. Well, it felt like 100. I think it was like 95, 96. It felt like it was 100 degrees these past 2 days, and with the French bulldog breed, we have to constantly watch them in the heat because they can overheat so quick because of the little flat faces. And so I'm so paranoid about having them out there, and I'm like rushing them to go to the bathroom and rushing them back in. But yesterday when I had them out, they came back, and Coco tends to overheat a little bit more than Rosie does. So she was really, really panting, and but not like she wasn't overheating to death or anything like that. Oh, Dobie. Oh, well, I understand that. I understand that. I've got a full bed myself, Stephen. I've got dogs all over the place. And God forbid, I get the common cold or sick or whatever. It has cooled down in the UK. Yeah, it's these past couple days have been hot. But I ended up like throwing them in the bathtub last night just to kind of cool them down. And of course Rosie likes baths. She'll tolerate them. Coco loves the bath. Loves it. She like lays in there. It's like her spa time or something. I can't say I blame her. Bath time is usually a nice relaxing time. But they do. Oh, these yin yangs they play tug of war all the time. And I mean, constantly. Or if Rosie's a toy hog, she'll grab all the toys, and if Coco or Lolo go for it, then she'll drop hers and she'll go for theirs. She's a bully. She's literally a bully. For a French bulldog, she's a little bully, and she will try to steal all the toys, but then she'll take them. This is how she's kind of a little stinker. But she'll take her toy once she gets it, and she'll take it and put it right in their face. Like she will nudge her face with that toy up to their face, like, see, I got it. And then usually Coco will take the bait and grab it. And then it is this whole tug of war, which again, if you ever look at some of my back lives, you can hear them in the back when they do this, because we've got toys all around the studio here, and they'll be in the background. It'll sound like, I call them my little gladiators. They look like little gladiators because they're just pulling at each other. And I mean, it sounds worse than it is, but they're just playing tug of war, and Rosie doesn't like to lose. So, but they do. They absolutely love each other. And it's, oh, wow. Yeah. Again, Huskies are they play, your Huskies play tag? Oh my gosh. I'm telling, Rosie will bite at Coco's legs and try to pull her leg out from underneath her. Sometimes, yeah, they're so much fun, right? And everybody's got a different personality. So, when people say, it's you brought a new member of the family in, it's a replacement. It's not a replacement. Bubbles. Yes. Bubbles are, it's like, yeah, no, I knew what you're saying. Yes. Bubbles, dogs love that. My Harley loved anytime we would blow bubbles or anything like that, or sprinklers. It's just the simple things in life. And maybe that's a lesson for us to start and getting back to enjoying the simple things. And maybe that's why we love them so much, because it is simple things. And they oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe that's it. When was the last time you got excited when somebody blew bubbles by your face? And I'm not gonna lie, probably some, if we did that now, probably, people would probably put us in insane asylums, be like, why is that, you know, lady, why is that older lady like laughing at a bunch of bubbles? Um, my pet cat. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh my God. Your cat ate your fish. Oh my God. I was gonna say that had to be a like, and how do you, well, I mean, cats do like fish, right? Oh my goodness. And it's like, what do? You can't like yell at the cat, right? I mean, you can't yell at the cat and be like, why did you do that? That's like in their nature. Same thing with birds. Well, when my Brady got his first parakeet, um, and I joke about this now. I shouldn't joke about this, but I joke about this now. When he got his first parakeet, we had it in a little cage. It was, on the shelf. And all of a sudden, during the middle of the night, I hear Coco and Rosie like running through the house. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, what the hell are they running for? Well, Coco went in and knocked the bird cage over with the parakeet in it because they had, because that's what she wants to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. But knocked, and then somehow they got that parakeet out of the cage. I don't know if the door flew open when it fell on the floor, but these girls were chasing this parakeet, and I see this little bird like running towards me. I'm running towards them. They're trying to get the bird. And luckily, I just bent down and grabbed, the parakeet in my hand. And and of course he lived. I mean, we still have him. But, I put him back in his cage. And of course, I got another cage and then, just made sure we secured it. But I mean, I will tell you, I will tell you this, and this is the part I joke about. If you ever want to train a parakeet to like a human, have your dogs chase it, because when we first got him, he was like scared to death of us. But then after that incident, like he was like our best friend. He was my son's best friend. I mean, he would sit on our shoulders. It was just like, yeah, these people are good. They saved my life. But no, seriously, I would not say have your dogs chase it. But it was such a unique situation, and I don't know what got into her, to even do that. Now, granted, yeah, there are babies, there are dogs, but still they're dogs, right? And we love them, and we always sometimes forget that they have those natural instincts, even though neither of these two would make it out in the wild. If their ancestors, look them up, their ancestors, if they were wolves or whatever, would probably hide their head and in embarrassment how pampered these two are on top of Lola. But yeah, it's amazing. Like what, like it just, you never know. You never know what you're going to get with dogs, cats. I mean, same thing with cats. Cats get into everything, right? And they are one of the most challenging pets that I used to have in my pet loss and grief meetings, people that would come and lose cats, because cats will not tell you that there's anything wrong with them until basically it's too late to do anything. And I don't know if that is just kind of their loyalty or whatever it is, but cats will hide everything. And, and then again, when something comes up, or when they get to the point where they can't hide it anymore, it's usually too late. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing. But they're, I always say, cats you got to watch them around different plants, different, foods. No dogs can eat onions. But, I mean, anything, and we're ones that, I've done table scrape, you know what I mean? Like I make 4 scrambled eggs for myself every morning. I literally eat one of them, and the other ones, have, an audience of 3 that are looking at me. So everybody basically gets eggs for breakfast. Yeah, I can make 1 egg and have that and be fine. But, they're not going to let me walk out without that. It is like a child. You want to, yes, exactly. Right. Right. And same thing, Kristen, when I'm recording my shows, I will be, serious. I will be, like going, and then all of a sudden, and it's usually Coco. It's usually my Coco. She will just come out of nowhere and knock the camera over. She'll back into something. I had it the one time where I was sitting there, I started, all of a sudden she like came and jumped from one area over here, and then totally like broke one of my statues off the thing. And I'm like, well, here we go. Here we go. And, I couldn't help but like, just laugh, right? You just, you can't help but laugh and just shake your head. But the kids do the same thing. My kids are goofy, and they do things that just, make me question things, but that's just how it is. So, but I appreciate everybody coming on tonight for this. Let's see. I did have 2 questions. I'm not going to have enough time to do both, but we'll get through at least one of them. Just because this is a viewer question, and I like to get these, try to get some answers out on it. But the one question was, what does healing from pet loss or your pet loss, right? Yeah, exactly. Well, because you know what, they're constantly watching. They're constantly watching and listening, even though they can't talk. They're constantly watching and listening. So, that's they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But yeah, healing from pet loss is misunderstood. People imagine, feeling okay or stopping the pain. In reality, it's more subtle and much more personal when you start healing from it. Healing is not the absence of grief. It's learning how to carry love and loss at the same time. And I think that that's very important. I think that that's extremely, extremely important. Healing isn't forgetting. It's one of the biggest fears that people have when they lose their pet. I know it was always mine, and especially when we get older too. The further that we move away from the incident, the more that we, forget what they sounded like, and we forget their touch, and that's scary. That's scary because it's like another going through a loss all over again. And, that's why it's important to have reminders or videos or something that you can quick pull up. And, healing doesn't mean that you're erasing their memory. You still remember their face. You still remember their habits or routines, their personalities. What changes in all this is how painful those memories are and how they feel over time. So that's how you also know when you're on the road for healing, is when you can think of different things and not cry, when you can think of different things and it not trigger you into something, right? Yesterday was the first day I had oh, damn it, Erin, those Facebook memories, right? Oh, I know, right? Yeah, those Facebook memories. I love Facebook memories. However, like you said, in certain circumstances like that, this is one that pulled up a memory the other day, and I'm like, well, it was actually perfect because I'm like, oh, I was looking for this picture so I could show you guys. But I mean, this was one of the memories I pulled up, and it's powerful, right? And it's powerful, and it's triggering. It all of a sudden brings us it's kind of like an emotional bombarding, so to speak, of all these different stages of grief that we went through, We go from happy to sad to maybe even laugh, and just, look at something and go, oh gosh, yeah, I remember that. Um, but sometimes, depending on how recent the loss was, it just hurts. It hurts because when you stop and think about it, you're you're not going to see him again, right now, anyways. I believe they're waiting for me all up there. I do. I believe they're waiting for me. So I always say, one day, we'll meet again one day. And um, I always make fun and say that my poor grandmother, I love my grandmother to death. Um, but I feel like, every time I lose another dog, I feel like she's up in heaven, taking care of all my animals and, going, damn it, Jennifer, got another one to take care of. Um, but I mean, that's what I believe. I believe that we're going to see him again. Some people don't, and that's fine. I respect everybody's feelings and what they think. Um, I like that. I find comfort in that, and knowing that again, one day we're gonna have that reunion, and I'll have all my kids with me again, and it'll be a beautiful day, right? So another sign of healing is when like the sharp pain of the loss becomes less constant. Um, in the beginning, grief can feel like constant, heavy, overwhelming, exhausting. Exhausting is a huge one, which is another reason why you have to take care of yourself. Um, Tell people that you are, your loved ones to please help take care of you as well. Have them cancel your plans for you. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. This is your grief journey. You don't have to explain a damn thing to anybody. And if they don't respect that, then that's their problem. That's not a you problem. Your important job at that time is to take care of yourself. If that means you stay in bed for a day, you stay in bed for a day. If that means you don't want to eat that much that day, that's fine too. But you have to take care of yourself. You have to rest your body and you have to rest your mind. Two very, very important things. And just make sure you have a good support system. If you don't, turn your phone off. I know sometimes it's hard, but turn your phone off. Nobody, nobody needs to steal us from our time of grief. So another sign that you're healing is you can start breathing. You can start to breathe around the grief again. Healing often looks like laughing at a memory without breaking down. Here's Coco's up. I just heard her talk about your pet with more ease. That's a huge part of the healing journey, is being able to talk about your pets. Talk about the good times. The more you talk about them, I always say, the more you talk about them, the more you heal. At first, it's going to be challenging, but the more you do it, the more you'll heal. And I guarantee that you will connect with so many people. Yes, exactly. It is. It's. I know a lot of times when I've shared stories about mine passing, somebody else can connect with the story, or I've shared something because some of them had medical issues that they were unaware of. And maybe their dog or cat is going through the same situation, and they're like, oh my God, that's great. There's this medicine out there. There's that medicine out there. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get Coco up here. You coming up? Come on. You coming? Come on. Up. Come on. No. Come on. Come. Up. Up. Oh. Come on. Come on. Come on. Up. Coco's looking at me. Hang on. Let me push her over here. But yeah, let me see if I can move this one here. I'm going to switch sides. Here we go. I know you're mad I moved you. All right. So yeah, so this is Coco. For those who've never seen Coco, this is Coco and this is Rosie, and they love each other. But so another one is you build a new relationship with their memory. So, oops. Yes. Oh, oops. Hello. Yeah, you learn to build a new relationship around their memories, which means you are now reframing how yeah they are. You're reframing how some of those situations were. So she's mad at me. So she's gonna knock everything off my couch now. But you're gonna reframe the way that some of those memories were, because because a lot of times when things initially happen after losing a pet, everything is our mind isn't thinking right. We're going through all these different thoughts, and once we get a chance to step back, and once time goes on, we can then reevaluate some of those memories, and say, to ourselves, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as it was, or maybe that was the best outcome that could have happened in that situation. That's a huge one. Maybe that's I know, right? Oh yeah, she was not mad. She was not happy with that. Not happy at all. Let's see. Oh, triggers. The last one is triggers. Anything can trigger somebody during pet loss and grief. Oh, anything could trigger somebody in pet loss and grief. Will you stop? It could be you can be out somewhere, you can hear a sound of a collar, you can hear maybe anything, like, sorry, you're so even seeing another dog that looked like yours can be a trigger. Sounds, smells, a smell of something can trigger you, and in the beginning, all that stuff is hits you hard. But as time goes by, they're both 4 years old. They both turned 4 this year, so they're both 4. And again, Coco's my rescue. She's my rescue, and my poor Rosie. I've got to get her allergies under control. But anyways, so we are at our hour mark. We're gonna light the candle. Let me grab this and my lighter. Thank you, Coco. Wait, there's my lighter right here. So we're gonna light the candle, and this candle is lit for all of our animals that we have lost. Doesn't matter if it was today, this week, last week, or a year ago, or 10 years ago. If you want, you can put their names in the chat. But if not, we're honoring all of those that have passed. And oops, maybe if I can light it. So get this lit up here and move this here. So yeah, so we are putting this in memory of all of them. Where's my thing at? Yeah, all of the ones that have lost. Oh yeah, Dottie, exactly. Oh, but yeah, we're putting them. We put them up and thank them for everything that they've given us and pay honor to them. Thank you for joining tonight, Rose or Coco. Thank you for joining tonight and joining the Frenchie Revolution. This is Coco. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining the Frenchie Revolution. It was established in 2013. And if you're here, you are now part of it and you're part of the family. And I always say, if you don't have a friend, you have one now. I hope to see you back on Friday. Friday is our Frenchie Friday, where again, it's our fun topics. We have a really good time. Michelle and the fish. You know what? You should. I lost 2 snails, so put the snails up there too. I lost two snails. But yeah, so if you're here, you're now part of the Frenchie Revolution. And again, if you don't have a friend, you have one now. But please comment, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. We can only we can only make changes in society if people know that we're fighting for it. So I appreciate each and every person that has come on tonight, and hopefully I will see you again on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so just an hour later. I usually do it an hour later on Fridays because everybody likes to do something on Friday. But anyway, so thank you again. You are all wonderful, and I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Be safe and stay cool with that weather. Hopefully nobody overheats. So take care. And if you want to have any of your pets spotlighted on the show, you can email in a picture of them. Thank you. You can email in a picture of them, and then we will put that. I'll put them on my show. So pick a different dog every week and spotlight somebody. So anyways, I will see you on Friday. I'll stop talking, stop blabbing away. But thank you again. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And Coco says have a wonderful night too. Coco's going to say wonderful night. You going to say wonderful night? Yes, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. I know, you're such a good girl. So have a good night. Take care. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Bye. Oh, Coco. Coco doesn't want me to shut off the camera. I'm sorry, Coco. I'm going to shut off the camera, Coco. I know, right? See, she won't let me shut off the camera. I got to use my other hand now. But anyway, so take care. Have a good night. Bye.